Something unexpected has just shaken the walls of Old Trafford, and every Manchester United supporter needs to hear this right now. A major development has surfaced, and it directly affects the club's plans for the coming months. What looked like a quiet period has suddenly turned into a situation that could completely change the dressing room atmosphere and even influence the future of one of the club's brightest young stars. This update has only just come out, and the details behind it are causing plenty of questions among the fans. Make sure you stay with us until the end so you don't miss any part of this breaking story. And of course, do not forget to subscribe to the channel for more urgent Manchester United updates. Kobbie Mainoo has become the center of attention at Manchester United after fresh information revealed a significant shift in his situation. The young midfielder, who only recently broke into the first team and impressed supporters with his energy and intelligence, is now facing a moment of real uncertainty. Reports from Italy suggest that he is being closely followed by Napoli, who see him as a valuable option for their midfield rebuild. This interest has been around for some time, but things have escalated now that Manchester United have made their stance very clear. The club's conditions for any possible move have created tension around the player's future. And this has put Mainoo right at the heart of one of the most talked about stories of the week. Mainoo's relationship with Game Time this season has become more complicated than many expected. After such a strong showing at Euro 2024, supporters believed he would naturally take on a bigger role in the squad. Instead, he has found minutes hard to come by, with the manager keeping a very tight approach to team selection. This lack of opportunities is now pushing the player to think about what is best for his development, especially with the World Cup coming closer. For a player of his age, sitting on the bench for long periods can be damaging, not just physically but mentally as well. And this has opened the door for clubs like Napoli to step forward. Mainoo wants to play, and his desire to stay active is shaping this entire situation. The main issue now is that Manchester United have set strict rules for any potential negotiation involving Mainoo. According to the latest report, the club will only accept a loan deal with no strings attached or a full transfer worth €50 million. This immediately created shock in Napoli, who were hoping for a more flexible approach. A loan without any type of commitment means they would develop the player without gaining anything in the long term. And a purchase of that value is simply not realistic for them right now. This has left the Italian club unsure of how to move forward. Mainoo's talent is not in question, but the financial and contractual obstacles have made everything far more complicated. In Italy, journalist Enrico De Lellis has been clear that Napoli admire Mainoo and view him as a serious target. However, the conditions imposed by Manchester United look impossible for them to meet. The club is already balancing several priorities and cannot afford to spend such a large amount on one player. Napoli also know that they would struggle to secure a future for him if he were only to arrive on a temporary basis. That means the chances of a deal happening are much lower than originally expected. Still, the interest remains strong, and they are keeping the player on their list in case something changes. But for now, the demands from Old Trafford have made everything come to a stop. Meanwhile, Lazio midfielder Matteo Guendouzi has emerged as an alternative option for Napoli. His situation is seen as easier to negotiate, especially with the approval of manager Antonio Conte. This means that, although Mainoo remains admired, Napoli may eventually shift their focus to someone more realistic in the market. For Manchester United fans, this might sound like good news, as it reduces the pressure from Italy. But it does not solve the internal issue at Old Trafford. The fact remains that Mainoo wants to play, and his frustration is slowly becoming visible. If things do not change soon, more clubs may join the race, increasing the risk of losing a talented young midfielder. Inside the club, the situation is becoming increasingly uncomfortable for Mainoo. He knows that the World Cup is approaching fast, and missing out would be a huge disappointment after the progress he made at the European Championship. The player has been working hard in training, trying to convince the manager that he deserves more minutes. However, the system currently used has limited his chances, and the manager has stuck rigidly to his tactical ideas. This has resulted in Mainoo starting only one Premier League match this season, which is far below what he expected. For a player hoping to be part of the national team, this lack of exposure is worrying, and it explains why the idea of a move, even temporarily, has been on his mind. His appearance against Everton, where he finally played more than 30 minutes for the first time since August, offered a small sign of hope. But for Mainu, one brief appearance does not fix the larger issue. He needs consistent time on the pitch, and the current situation does not promise that. The supporters also feel conflicted, as they want to see the youngster grow and succeed at the club. Yet they also understand that his international ambitions make regular game time essential. This balancing act is creating pressure on the board and the manager. Every decision made over the next few weeks will affect not just Mainu, but the wider squad as well. Adding to all this is the growing conversation among the fan base. Many supporters believe that Manchester United should be more flexible with young players who show promise. Others argue that Mainu must stay and fight for his place, as competition is part of playing at such a big club. But the reality is that confidence and rhythm come from minutes on the pitch. Without them, development becomes difficult. The club knows this, and the player knows this. The tension between long-term planning and immediate needs is the core of the problem. Mainu's desire to represent his country at the World Cup only intensifies the urgency of finding a solution. It is also important to understand that Mainu's market value is rising rapidly. Clubs from Italy are not the only ones watching him. Scouts from other European sides are monitoring his situation closely, waiting to see whether Manchester United will soften their stance. If the club remains firm on the €50 million demand, many potential buyers will step away. There is also the possibility that Mainu remains at Manchester United for the rest of the season but continues to receive limited minutes. This would be the least ideal outcome for everyone. The player would miss out on development, the club would fail to make use of a talented asset, and England would risk losing a promising midfielder for the tournament. The situation cannot remain frozen forever. Decisions will have to be made soon, and those decisions will define the rest of the season. Whether Manchester United adjust their stance or not will determine whether Mainu sees his ambitions fulfilled or frustrated. For now, the story continues to evolve, and the coming weeks will be crucial. Mainu is waiting, Napoli are evaluating, and Manchester United are standing firm. The pressure on all sides is increasing, the World Cup clock is ticking, and nothing is guaranteed. What remains clear is that Mainu's future is one of the most important topics around the club right now. So, after everything we've covered, this situation does bring something positive. It proves just how valuable Kobbie Mainoo has become, not only inside Manchester United but across Europe. Now it's your turn to decide. Should the club keep him at all costs, yes or no? Leave your answer in the comments, because your voice really matters here. You're an amazing supporter, and your opinion helps shape every discussion on this channel. And wait, before you go, don't miss the next explosive Manchester United video coming up next.